Okay, the age-old question that everyone wants to know. Was it faster to overclock with the multiplier or by the front-side bus speed? And are unlocked processors worth the price? Well, not really. Actually, most of us know that most of the time overclocking with the front-side bus is just as if not faster than the multiplier. The unlocked processors just give us more flexibility. But how much faster is it? Or was that just a myth since none of us wanted to spend the money on an unlocked CPU? Well, that's what I wanted to check into. But there are a couple of, let's call them, issues that came up. One being, how do I test this? Do I just test them at stock speeds by, on one, lowering the multiplier and increasing the front side bus and then comparing it against its stock settings? Or do I overclock them both to the same overclock speed, just one being with the higher multiplier and the other with a higher front side bus speed? Well, the latter is what I decided to do. Only problem is the board I'm using isn't, well, let's be nice and just say that its chipset isn't the greatest overclocker. However, I was able to overclock each by 500 MHz to 3.5 GHz, one by raising the multiplier to 10.5, and the other by leaving the stock multiplier but raising the frontside bus to effectively 1.5 GHz versus the stock 1333. Now, I plan on diving into this further in a later video once I find a better board, but let's just see what this gets us for now and see how they hold up. First up, let's get into some generic Passmark tests. Now, just so you know, from this point on, I'm just going to refer to it either as a multiplier overclock or a bus overclock, just to make things simpler. The individual CPU tests were very mixed between the two. However, the bus overclock had a higher overall score. The memory test also favored the bus overclock, which I'd expect as the frontside bus is what is overclocked here and is essentially what's being tested. And the frontside bus overclock once again pulled ahead this time in the disk benchmark. In 7-zip, the bus overclock won again, finishing 13 seconds sooner. In Handbrake, the bus overclock again finished first. This one was a lot closer, but still finished 8 seconds sooner with a slightly higher average encode speed. As usual, I tested Cinebench both in the single-thread and multi-threaded modes. And this time, the multiplier overclock pulled ahead in the single-threaded run by nearly a minute and a half. In the multi-threaded run, the multiplier overclock won once again, but this time only by a couple seconds. In Heaven, at 1080, with the medium quality preset, they were pretty close. The multiplier overclock benched a higher minimum and maximum FPS, however, the bus overclock held a higher average frame rate. And well, in the real world, that's what we'd want anyways. So, the bus overclock wins here too. In Superposition, once again, the bus overclock wins. But you'll notice not only this time did it have a higher average frame rate, but also a higher min and max frame rate. So all around it did better. In Crysis Remastered, both had similar results, but the bus overclock managed to pull off a slightly higher average frame rate. Really, I'd love to try this all again with a better board. I bet with a higher overclock on both, we'd see the bus overclock really pull ahead. Unreal Tournament 3 at 1080 with the quality settings set higher than I usually use, the bus overclock pulled ahead yet again, scoring 16 FPS higher on average. With Raft, again, it was a similar story. The frontside bus run benched about a frame and a half faster. Neither were great, but one was definitely faster than the other. And of course, GTA 5, yeah. It won again, benching about 7 frames per second faster on average. I'll let the last part of the benchmark run here, just so you can see it if you're interested.
About a job and the trouble. Watch out, man! Damn!
So looking at the graphs, the bus overclock was almost always ever so slightly faster than the multiplier. Let me know down below why you think that is. And like I said before, I want to revisit this again with a better board and overclock this further. I think that with a larger overclock, we'll see a much bigger difference between the multiplier and frontside bus overclocks. In the 3D apps and games, it was the same deal. The bus overclocks always pulled ahead of the multiplier overclocks. As usual, it's just a quick video comparing a couple things. As I said a couple times before, I want to continue this in another video with higher overclocks and more apps and games tested. But for now, if you're still here, thanks again. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.